The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties.
Well, pleasant good evening. It is Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-host, Otis Wiley and Jehuu Caulcrick. And this is Sparta MSU. Thank you for tuning in. If it's your first time, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button. And remember to follow us on all of our social media followers. But don't forget also the live chat is where the party's at. Get in there, mingle and mix with all the people who watch the show on a regular basis, and we love it in there. You'll love it too. If you want to know how to follow our social medias, go to that link in our bio to see exactly how to do that. Guys, how are you guys doing today?
As the homeboy T-Pain said, I'm good.
You good? We're here at Chandler's Crossing, man. Chandler's Crossing.
Otis, this is my old stomping ground. Building 8, the club at Chandler's Crossing, is where I lived.
Oh,
boy, college here.
You remember when we talked about this on a long time show? We were talking about housing, right? Like, Jehuu got here's where you can stay.
Yeah.
And there's a laundry list to where anywhere around here, housing, we got real houses.
Yeah.
You know, we got the thing like Cherry Lane.
That's it.
This is my first experience here because we had a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom.
Oh.
4 bed. You feel like king?
4 bath. Yeah, had our own bath, everything. And the volleyball court, the basketball court, the pool parties.
Man, I just seen the pool when I walked in here.
Yeah. There's that pool, there's the indoor pool, and then there's the outdoor pool.
Is it indoor and outdoor?
Indoor and outdoor. Yes, well, like the DJ and everything. You take your keg, roll it up. A keg.
I'm sure those rules don't apply anymore. They need to clean that up.
Yeah, we're going to talk to Sarah about this a little later. See if that's actually allowable here at Chandler's Crossing, but man, it's nice digs here, isn't it?
Absolutely. I wish I had the privilege. I would come here and hoop, though. I'll do some pickup basketball right there at the gym right next door. But this is a great property right outside of campus where you can get. Well, we used to be Luha's right here, too.
Luha's was right here. Maggie's was right there.
Yeah.
That was the best thing about it, living here, was because you're still close to campus, but yet you're a little off campus. You have that little, you have that autonomy of being away from campus, all that rigmarole, as the kids would say. Yes, and then you come out here and you have your own life, your own, skill set, everything. Boy, if those walls could talk.
I was going to say.
Right, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. They can't talk. We might not be hireable right now. But guys, we're going to get to business a little bit because we got a jam-packed show today. We got to talk about a lot of things, cover a lot of things. Had a great show last week. Obviously, we talked about with Tony Mandridge. But guys, Maddie Sissoko went over to host a basketball clinic. We're going to see a video of Maddie here if we can.
So if you agree, have a drink with me, raising license for a dog to a little bit of chicken fries. Roll beer on the Friday night, the 13 that fit us right, and the radio on, I see sunrise. See the love.
And when he went upstage and we said, this is like the karaoke spot, you said. It's not even, it's a live cover band, and Jehuu goes, I want to sing. I had to be there to understand the whole thing.
I have no idea how that happened.
How did that get in there?
Again, let's talk about Sissoko. He hosts a basketball clinic back in Mali. Can we play the tape, please?
I take a look at my life and I realize there's nothing. And I've been passing the last so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't ever crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Let me treat you like a punk, you know it's unheard of. You better watch how you talking and when you walk it. Or you and your homie might be lying and talking. I really hate the trick, but I gotta look. As I cook in my stuff in the business for food, I'm the kind of kid that little homies wanna be on my knees at night saying prayers for the street life. Been spending most of my time living in the ghetto.
I gotta say, I did not expect those videos, but Otis absolutely crushed it. He killed it.
Both crushed it, I think.
I had a bigger crowd than Otis had, but we couldn't see the crowd.
By what?
2 or 3.
No, there was a heaps of people.
Oh my God! I saw that one lady come up here like,
Lots of people like going like, oh, you know, all that.
Yeah, groupies.
no, we talked about look, when I called you, I was like, first of all, when you step on stage, what you don't even know the lyrics from
I knew the lyrics.
And we couldn't keep. He was like, what week we on? Are we on the snare or are we on the bass?
See, my thing, I had a live band. Otis, you had the words. And
I have the words.
Like
I know that by heart. That's why I
give you
choose.
your props.
I choose the songs that I know where I can close my eyes and I'll just sing it from start to finish. But I like it was a switcheroo because we won't get to the real thing. But this was like, who do you think won the
who did it best?
challenge? Who did it best?
Yeah, who did that one best? That was classic. Art Duvervaz says, "Move over, Taylor Swift. Here comes O, Dub, and Chew."
The Chew-Wifters, not the Swifters.
Okay,
The Chew-Wifters.
Yeah, we'll go. Oh, we'll sell out 4.
Oh, we'll go to Crunchies and settle it real good.
O sound like that dude from the movie Office Space.
Hey, it was my auto tune, man. I had a little muzzle on there, but go ahead.
Can we get to Madi Sissoko? He actually did host a basketball clinic in Mali.
Work, yes.
Yeah, he actually did this. I don't know if we can. There we go.
So Madi, obviously, with his because of video. I'm good. Okay. Yeah. So Madi, with his organization, fundraising organization, nonprofit, I'll say, this is what good use goes to, the resources that he gets with obviously being on campus. But could you look at anybody in the country who's doing what Madi did, right?
Right.
And this is his time where he could have went anywhere else, to spend his quality time and his off time. He's paying it back and paying it forward to young kids. To obviously the game of basketball is global, right? And so they're able to make an impact back in his hometown, and in building a school. Like we talk about LeBron and his school, back in Ohio, but Madi has created his school out of the resources that he's received. So, I mean, this is one of those things where we have stand-up guys who are truly not just walking it, they're living it fully, talking it, walking it, whatever you want to say. You walk it like you talk it, but he's doing it very well.
Yeah, I think that's really cool that Madi had the opportunity to do that. Being a kid that's from Liberia, West Africa, we didn't have football, but what we had was basketball. Everyone had basketball, and it's something that's really cool that he gets an opportunity to, come to the United States to live out his dream, for one, and play this game of basketball, and then go back and share it with these kids and give them the opportunity. And I'm telling you, for those kids that had the opportunity to attend that camp, that is a life-lasting, event for them. And that's something that's going to be with them the rest of their lives. And that's really cool that he had the opportunity to go back. And like you said, Otis, that is why, there's that NIL. But without NIL, he couldn't do that.
Yeah,
He could not do that, and that's why NIL's in place. And that's a guy putting NIL to good use.
Absolutely.
And being an international student, the fact that he's with Charitable Gift America allows for him to be able to accept NIL and actually do these things that he's doing, which are great. And I wonder if he could do any scouting over there, because I'm sure we can find us a couple more.
Well, we talk about scouting. Let's talk about just university and students, international students, where those kids at that age have now been like, hey, I see the green and white, I see the Spartan helmet, I see Madi over here in the States, and it's the brand of in 5 to 7, 10 years, you're gonna see kids in a full influx of international students coming from Madi's hometown.
Yeah.
That's the place of putting a seed in, and it's gonna reap. Go ahead.
We got Spartan helmets over in Liberia, I hope.
The best thing about it is this. Now that he's there, it gives relevancy to that green and white brand, because back when I was in Africa, the only time you saw, before I came to America, after the Buffalo Bills won 4 straight Super Bowls, because those loser Super Bowls, because they make both shirts.
Oh yeah, and you get the
Oh, you get the loser
And
one?
then you get the loser ones get shipped back to Africa. So
you're wearing them?
I was wearing a Buffalo Bills Super Bowl championship. So now this is a little different. Now that these kids will see the Spartan logo on a prevalent stage.
That's great, guys. I mean, hats off to Monty and what he's doing over there with his family and friends over in Mali. That's incredible. Guys, we got to shift gears a little bit and talk about transfer portal news for Michigan State football. Terry Roberts is now coming to MSU, a transfer from Iowa by way of Miami.
Yeah, Terry's a guy that went to Iowa and then went to Miami, and he didn't even play at Miami. He just came right there. But, even going back, Terry's a kid had from a Cathedral Prep High School in Erie, Pennsylvania. I know this school very well because through East Lansing, Michigan State, we had a bunch of guys, Tom Dance, Damian Terry. Those guys were Cathedral Prep athletes there. And Iowa has a big pipeline of Cathedral Prep guy with Bob Sanders, Ed Hinkle, all those guys. I went to Cathedral Prep for a day.
For a day.
Yeah. Because I
day?
graduated with my graduating class of 26 kids, boys and girls, and I was a public school. And then Cathedral Prep was recruiting me to go there. So I went there for a day. I looked down, I'm in a suit and tie. I look right, there's a dude. I look left, there's a dude. I was like, man, there's 26 kids in my graduating class. At least 13 of them are girls. So I'm going back that way.
Of course.
We have some players from there that played here.
We've had some players from Cathedral. Cathedral Prep is a great school. They've won over 5 state titles.
I remember Damon Terry.
Damon
won a couple.
Damon Terry, Williams,
Delton Williams.
Tom Dance.
Mm.
Those guys were from Cathedral Prep. Great lineage in football in the state of Pennsylvania. Lots of trip to Hershey, PA, to play in a state title game. Coach Mike Mishler there, really good guy. So I think this is a good get that we have in East Lansing right now with Terry.
And we know Iowa Hawkeye DBs, like the make of those DBs, they're gritty. When you talk about just hard nose, like hard knack for the football. If you see the highlights right now, this is what we need, right? We need turnovers. We need interception. The way he can take it to the house, this is an opportunity where we're going to add depth. We just talked about Mr. Tatum. We asked, there's 14 DBs in the room now, right?
Yeah.
And so for us to have depth where someone goes down, we know that we're not going to lose any space of someone coming off the sideline. We're not going to lose that drop down of talent. So this is good. We have guys who've had game experience, a little bit more like seniority to come in and give us a little bit more of different feel, different flavor. And so good to see how he's going to fit into Coach Barnett and our defensive scheme. And so excited to add him to the DB room.
Without question, running the 4-2-5 defense that Michigan State does run now, it's imperative to have depth at that position because you got a lot of guys. And, that's the game now. It's a passing league. I don't care if it's college or pro football. That's what you're seeing. A lot of 4 wide receivers, and you got a lot of guys in a lot of different formations and side adjustment routes that quarterbacks are able to eat up defenses. So having depth there from proven players like Terry Roberts is going to be critical for the Michigan State this season and beyond. Now, when you look at the recruiting, I think it's interesting to look at the comparison this year. What is the mood of people now? Spartan Nation. Last year, in this time during the recruiting process, Michigan State had a ton of visits, official visits going on. There were zoo animals, as Jehuu likes to call, in the stadium.
Farm animals.
Farm animals. Zoo, farm animals. Dogs. Sheep, goats. It was goats.
There were goats.
Yeah, we had Lamborghinis. We had a lot of cars,
We had the G-Wagon.
G-Wagons,
Lambos.
Wagoneers, lots of things. And this year seems to be a little bit more subdued. What is your feeling right now compared to last year where Michigan State is from a recruiting standpoint with only 3 commitments so far?
I think it's quality over quantity, where there was so much, I felt like we had to do so much to try to win over some of these kids from other schools, and kind of getting back to just the DNA of culture, the scheme of coaches, the experience that our coaches have in the NFL, and then just an opportunity of just the future vision of our capital project of our new facility. And then the campus itself, like you get on campus, which we saw the little snippet on WLNS, and the coaches, they get a full experience with Coach Tucker, like time with him. We talk about this is last year's GOAT, like, man, BT, like, now this was a cold picture though from BT because he is a GOAT, right? But this was a thing that was different.
Pancake Honcho.
Pancake Honcho, and
ends up in Miami.
Yeah, ends up in Miami. So a lot of things that we rolled the red carpet out for, and these kids still didn't make that decision. You got to go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, what are we doing differently to get these kids to fully say, hey, we're going to be in their top 3 versus, oh, we're in the top 5 where we're using us as clout to then build their full internal, like, my brand. So I think this is an opportunity. We're getting kids that are coming in where this is a desperate need. We're getting kids that we need to fill our room and our roster.
The big thing is this. All right, Otis said it best. He said quality over quantity. We're going after guys that want to be Spartans. Not guys that are coming in to get those pictures and post it on Instagram, to get those pictures and, post it on Twitter and say, #blessed to have another offer, all those different things.
AGT, all glory to God.
Yeah. All those things. We're going after guys. It's a subdued thing. And you know what I compare it to? And people are going to scratch their heads and give me shit for this. But I look at University of Michigan 3 years ago. All right. They had Jim Harbaugh in that Corvette in the rap video. Who's got it better than us? Doing all that. And they were not very good. He stopped talking, started coaching, started, being there with the players and all those different things. And you saw they won back-to-back Big Ten titles. You can't take that away from them. No. I think we're on the pedigree, we're on the path of where we're letting our on-field play do the talking for us. There's a lot of, it's good, those glitz and glamours and everything like that. You're gonna get certain kids here. Those kids that you're gonna get for those things, like you saw the picture of Pancake Honcho. Yeah, he was here for those. For those, it was a stepping stone for him to get bigger offers. Now the guys that we have are guys that truly want to be a part of Michigan State football. Those are guys that truly want to be Spartans. These aren't guys that's going to use this stepping stone, use this as leverage to be like, well, Michigan State offered me. What can you give me to someone else? So that's the thing. And for all those people, because I've seen the narrative and everything online, there's some panic in Spartan Nation about we only have 3 hard commitments. And this year we had this, we had that. But yeah, last year
we had a lot.
And they flipped and went different places.
Yeah.
This year we're getting the guys who want to be here. This year we're getting the guys who feel they are true Spartans. And those guys are the people that's going to help us to achieve that goal. And that one goal, as every college football program, is win a national title.
That's well said. I've seen it myself from not only this seat, but as a parent of a recruit. And we're going to talk a little bit about this in more depth later on. There is a different vibe coming out of that building in Michigan State, especially from Mel Tucker and his staff, that recruits do relate to. I can assure you of that. I've seen it myself firsthand, and today was a very big attestament to that. We're going to talk more about that later, but guys, like this is huge. I don't think that anyone needs to panic right now about how many commitments they have. I mean, signing day is in December sometime, and then there's a second one in February. We have plenty of time to get the right guys. I think that when we've had guys like Corey Robinson from 247 Sports on, he's talked in depth about going after the right caliber guys, like you're saying, Jehuu, Michigan State guys that really want to be here rather than go after the stars. Because when you go after stars, sometimes you don't necessarily land them because, as you said, they could be looking for more deals.
Yeah, and there's a great point here. Art asked the question, Chu, what's your elevator pitch to a recruit on why to come to MSU? And I simply say this. The elevator pitch that I would tell a kid, that's choosing between a bunch of different colleges. If you want to be part of something special, if you want to be part of building something really unique, and you want to be that fundamental, that foundation to getting somewhere, this is why you come to Michigan State. If you want to have a great collegiate experience, you want to have a great social life, you want to get a great degree, and at the end of the day, 20 years from now, when you're done and you come back and you're still being embraced and hugged when you walk in that football facility, you know you made the right choice. That's what I would tell a kid. If you're chasing the bag, if you want to get $10,000 a month right now, this isn't a place for you. You know, like, don't get me wrong, that's good. All that stuff is good. But if you want that foundation, if you want to go to Tokyo, Japan, and walk in a bar and someone yells "Go Green" and you yell "Go White" back, you want that feeling?
Sure. Yeah.
This is where you come to school. This is something that will never ever be taken from you. That lineage, that title of a Spartan Dawg, that is something that will go with you the rest of your life. So if you want to be part of that, that's why you come to MSU. If you want to be part of that organic growth and that organic feel for winning a Big Ten title, for playing in a Rose Bowl, for having something prestigious, that's why you come to Michigan State, for opportunities like Trouble with the Snap, for opportunities like Little Giants, for opportunities like Mousetrap, Rocket Pass, all those plays that live in history. I don't know how many schools have big plays like that. But if you want to be part of something special, if you want to be a dog and wear that blue collar every day, that's why you come to Michigan State.
Sign this man up, admissions right now.
Recruiting team
step
right
up
here. All you recruits out there, listen to Choo Choo. He'll get your head right. And you know what? We got to talk a little bit about this beautiful place that we're at, Chandler's Crossing. We're going to talk to Sarah Miller, who's the leasing and marketing manager. She's going to join the show after this short message from our friends over at IHOP.
At IHOP, we're introducing 2 new all-natural Black Angus steak burgers, the bourbon bacon jam, and the jalapeno kick with a crunchy 4-cheese crisp. Get a combo with fries and a drink starting at $9, only from IHOP. Bundle offer for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Restrictions apply.
All right. Well, Sarah Miller joins. This is Sparta MSU. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Oh, we're great. We're great in this beautiful facility. Thank you for hosting us.
Of course. You're welcome.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just reminiscing. When I came in, I drove into the club entrance. I made a left, and I went all the way down, sat in there, looked at Building 8. I was like, "Yeah, this is me right here."
So I'm gonna have resident complaints, is what you're telling me.
White Dodger.
No, but this is a great facility. It truly gives a college student that feel of freedom, you know, like that you don't get on campus. You're not in the dorm. You have your own, you know, washer dryer in the units, your bathroom. You don't take, it's that responsibility there. And what was the thought process going into this? And tell us about how far this place has come from when I was here.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to age you, so I'll say that it's come some while. But we just really want a family feel, but we want some place where the students can come in and just kind of learn and grow, but at the same time have the freedom of our amenities. So the pool, the basketball court, this beautiful club room, they can come and use this. And we've seen everything from study groups to different organizations to prayer groups during the MSU shooting, like just everything come into play over here. And so there are still rules to follow, but you do get the freedom and without living in a dorm where it's small and confined. And yeah, I love it here, and I don't even live here.
Yeah, we talk about the amount of student population I know we've had on campus, you know, lack of housing for our kids. And so how have you used that as, you know, an opportunity to obviously win some new tenants and new students?
So being located about 8 minutes on a private bus route from campus is actually really helpful, especially for students who, you know, may not have a car or a way to get around, but it offers them the freedom that, you know, the bus may come 5 or 6 times, you know, throughout the day to come and take them to school. And with 2 locations around our community and all 3 of our properties have them, and a free bus pass to offer on top of that, it's super helpful. And we are seeing an influx of people who are like, I've heard you from so-and-so in class, or I've seen you on social media, or things of that nature. So it's so much easier, and honestly, we are welcome to have anybody.
Yeah. So one of the biggest, there's a ton of amenities here. There's the pool, there's a sand volleyball court, there's an indoor pool, the outdoor pool where back when I was here, there was DJs out there. You sit, kick back, and everything like that. But one of the biggest amenities that I take away from here, being a guy that got $4,756.24 worth of parking tickets. It's free parking here.
Yes.
You still got to pass them.
Right. Well, we give you a little sticker, but yes.
But yeah, that's that. And also too, once you come in and sign up to be a resident, you get a nice little gift basket, huh?
Yeah. So right now we're actually offering a renewal special. So if anybody renews in the month of June, you not only get a cute little Spartan basket that we're going to show you here in just a second, but you get 2 tickets to a football game of your choosing on us.
Hey,
of your choosing. So that
as long as we get them, yes, you get
so
them.
What we have in here, we got a nice little
Show
tumbler.
it to the camera.
Oh, show it to the camera.
a
I
tumbler.
like that little tumbler. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
a little grip on. Let's put this tumbler over here.
Oh, you
walk
got
away.
Are these wireless too? Bluetooth? Oh, Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
Let's put those over here. Put these over here. Put these over here.
You get a shirt, which you see some swag, and does it have Chandler's Cross on the back too?
Of course it
Look,
does.
you got some branding, so you'll be walking ambassadors of Chandler's Crossing. And then you got some beads and bottle opener. You already know. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That pool party we talked about. The time is right
Look,
now.
you got some beads. Go ahead. Put it on. Perfect.
Well, Fat Tuesday.
So only on the month of June, right?
Only in the month of June. Yep.
So in the summer, you have kids that are obviously going back home.
Mhm.
How are you managing that? Because I know people are like, hey, I don't want to sign a lease in June. How are you combating that to get people to sign their leases early?
Yeah. So we are actually filling up really quickly. But most of our residents are starting their leases in fall. I think a couple days before school starts.
Okay.
It's actually our time to shine, is what we call it. It's our time to kind of fix up the place. So we have vendors that come in and professionally clean, paint, carpet clean, carpet replace while everybody's gone. It gives us 3 weeks to make the property look as new as it can. And then we get ready for our mass movement, which is honestly like a big party for us. We just have everybody kind of drive around, come get your keys, and then it's moving day. So it's a lot of fun. We play music, have a whole hangout. You guys can come up.
Yeah.
Definitely. So if someone wants to sign, how do they go about?
So you can just go to chandlercrossing.com, pick which property you want to live at, just because we do have the 3 properties, so the village, the club, and the landings, where actually we offer the play pass, which means that you can live here but play at the other amenities. So there's a movie theater over at the village indoor, so you can go watch the big game on the movie theater with some pizza and not beer, right, guys?
Right.
But
allow for
chandlercrossing.com
hydration.
for all of that.
Chandler'sCrossing.com.
So, you said the village, the landing, and the club.
Mhm.
What are the different amenities that each one offer? I know you stay at one, you have a pass to play at all of them, but what are the different, you said the movie theater at the
village. Yep.
and then, obviously the club has the indoor basketball, the sand volleyball court and everything. So what are the different amenities?
So the landings has a dog park and an outdoor pool as well. The landings has the dog park and the outdoor pool. The village has the movie theater and outdoor pool and a skating rink that actually is a basketball court as well. So if you like ice skating, you can go over there. And then we of course have the indoor pool and the indoor basketball court.
Wow.
On top of so much more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much more.
Yeah.
Tell me about these phrases and facts. Live at one, play at all?
Live at one and play at all is kind of our go-to. So you can live here but play at the village or play at the landings. Lease now and live the Chandler lifestyle is more so just we have a certain lifestyle like you were kind of talking about as far as freedom from dorms, with the responsibility of a regular apartment. But we have so many different features inside the apartments itself, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances. We got
Granite?
granite.
You had granite? You lived here with granite?
You live the Chandler lifestyle.
Yeah. So Sarah, talk about what's the occupancy. I know, this is a hotbed place for people to come, and it's grown immensely. I know we were talking off air and you said, 79% to capacity right now. So people need to go. There's that 21%. Hey!
21.
79.
Look at that. I mean,
there's that, so if you want it, you got to get it. Is there,
Yeah.
You got to get it. What's the
Oh, yeah.
process? Like, is it just, a credit check, da-da-da?
it's
or
not
what?
even that. So mostly the
They ain't
students,
checking credit no
well,
more?
they are checking credit. Hold on. We do check credit, but yeah, you just go online, apply. We go through the whole process. It takes about 24 to 48 hours, and you're good to go. Welcome to Chandler Crossing.
Awesome. Well, you heard it, man. Like, this is an opportunity. Now, we appreciate your partnership
Of course.
with Michigan State Athletics, and obviously, you all in our partnership is very good for us. But I know the students love seeing you all out there in marketing, but also trying to get them to become a tenant. So let us know how we can do better for us and for you all. But we appreciate you at least hosting us here, and hopefully we get a little pass here, to be able to come in.
I'll make you a promise. Y'all, as long as we get tickets, you guys can come play in the pool.
Oh, there you go. Y'all heard it. Done and dusted. Done and dusted.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
thank you so much, sir.
Awesome.
We appreciate
Thank you,
you.
sir.
No problem,
Appreciate
guys.
you.
Have a good rest
All
of
right,
your
you
night.
too.
Oh, appreciate it. That's, again, Sarah Miller. Thank you. Chandler's Crossing, it's a great place. Everybody needs to come down here. If you haven't been here before, you need to come check this place out. Guys, we got to talk about NIL, but we're going to do that after this. Another message from our friends over at IHOP.
When you're smiling. iHoppy Hour, starting at $6 at 3 p.m. Only from IHOP. Download the app and join the rewards program today.
Sarah, we put the H on your name. That's my fault. We're back.
All right, guys. Look, there's been a lot of news about NIL talk all over the country. And Texas, I know, what's going on in Texas? A lot of crazy stuff going on in Texas. They have a bill now for NIL that's being presented that essentially, this is the Governor Greg Abbott from Texas saying that no matter what the collectives do that may or may not be illegal to the NCAA cannot punish them whatsoever. Guys, when you look at
I don't even want to know. That just sounds.
Yeah, they're basically trying to protect, the Texas A&M, Texas, and whoever else is in there, Texas Techs, all the Texas schools, from any kind of punitive damages from the NCAA if they don't follow the federal guidelines.
So is that just outright just saying we are definitely breaking the rules? And so we're going to go past this bill just so we protect ourselves, because clearly you're already admitting fault.
Or they're saying, they're being proactive, saying that if you change your rules, you can't. It does not going to affect us.
So my question will be to you guys: when was the last time Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, SMU, Rice, University of Houston won a national title? When Vince Young was there, right? The BCS days.
Yeah.
Before we had
So now they're saying we want a national title, and by any means necessary, by hook or by crook, we're going to get this national title. And they're saying we want whatever school you at. This is what Texas governor. We want the state of Texas to be put on that platform, because you're going to see in January the national title game is going to be some school in Texas they want representing. So that's the thing with that. And they're saying, give all you can without any penalties. If you want to do something that's you'd be like, it's a little shady, you can now, because there's no federal repercussions for it. So that is something that's like, I think overall the NCAA needs to take a look at this, before it goes too far, because there is such a thing as crossing that line, and there is such a thing as too far. And I think that has to be taken a look at and monitored. Some guidelines need to be put in place before this truly gets to the wild, wild west mentality.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting there, because Texas hasn't gotten to the national championship discussion since they got smoked by Alabama. I think it was Colt McCoy was in that ball game and got knocked out of the ball game. Yeah. This is after the Vince Young days, and it looks like they want to double down and get back into the discussion. Otis, when you look at this, you lived in Austin, right, for a while.
Yeah, he will tell us that.
Yeah.
There you go. Canadian, African, Vietnamese, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think this means for the sport?
Listen, I just I feel like there's bigger fish to fry in legislation and laws in Texas, like than doing this before they do other things, right? I won't get on that hot box, but I feel like it's an opportunity for other states to take notice that, you know, you got to be proactive and you got to take this into your own hands.
Yeah.
Because clearly Texas, California kind of started the whole trend fully of doing what they're doing, and now Texas, and then you're going to see these big states. Georgia will be next, Florida. You're going to start seeing the big state schools that are bringing a lot of the talent in college football and college basketball, just collegiate athletics. You're going to see these states try to support their kids and getting all that they can in NIL. And so it's crazy, man. It's truly Wild Wild West. And it's just adding more ammo to the Texas schools of like getting kids to go down to Texas, because clearly, you know, you can just whatever. You can carry whatever. You can carry. You can get money. You don't got to do quid pro quo. They don't care. It's like you can be on billboards with everything from cannabis to alcohol. Like, it's going to be a crazy whirlwind of activation and starting seeing our student athletes doing stuff that typically university and collegiate athletics doesn't kind of mix. But you're going to start seeing some new things happen.
On that point, so what you're saying is right now, the way that we know the rules to be, there are limits, right? That what players can market for personal gain through the NIL structure, right? So they can't do alcohol.
Now, they could, but without marks, right? Like if I'm just in a regular shirt doing whatever, I can do that.
You can do alcohol?
You could do, I mean, you can do that. You can do anything. If they're paying you, you're getting, you know, you're doing the service and they're paying you to do that service. But with the power, we talked about the power of intellectual property is that marks and logos that helps drive brands, helps drive your brand, to be honest with you. And so you're going to start seeing some battles, you know, that probably should be fought right now. But, you know, I'm interested to see how it's going to shape.
So my one question is this for you guys, and I know the answer for me. Is this a good or bad thing for college football?
This Texas bill?
Yeah.
I just think it's the tip of the iceberg. It's Pandora's box, you know, because we know that there were several schools, I think they're SEC schools, we talked about Power 5, that went to Washington, D.C. last week to lobby the Senate and the House on NIL legislation to try to put some guardrails on this thing, as old Coach Saban likes to say, because it's getting out of hand. And I think what he's talking about is directly this thing we're talking about in Texas, because it's not equal footing for the entire college football landscape. And without equal footing, then how can you really have a competitive balance? You know, you look at the NFL and NBA, it's competitive balance. Everybody gets the same salary cap. You know, you come in, if you're the best team, then you pick last. If you're the worst team, you pick first. You know, those kinds of things bring parity. If everybody ends up 8-8 or, you know, 9-8 now with 17 regular season games, I think they're happy in the NFL. But the way things are going now, especially with a move like this at Texas, it could shift all the talent to go to Texas, or Texas could try to break away. Who knows? I mean, what this thing can turn into. It could turn into, you know, some schools disengaging from the NCAA. And then what do you have? You know, does that affect the media rights deals? I mean, you can speak to that, Otis. Like, there's a lot to unpack there with a move like this that's happening in Texas. So I think that, I mean, we're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg. Something's going to have to be done. I don't know how fast Congress moves. In my estimation, they haven't moved very fast in the past on something like this, on even more important things, so to speak. So how are they going to be able to get out in front of this? Because right now it totally is going to be the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think it's a bad thing for college football. If you're going to go to that side of things where you're monetizing the game, you're going to go to the length of controlling salary cap and everything like that. It takes the purity, it takes that out of the game of college football. I don't care who wins the national title if you're going to do that, because it's going to be all about who buys the best team. Yeah. I still love the fact about that old school recruiting, that old school, like, you know, come to my school because of the tradition, come to
strategy and recruiting. Like,
exactly,
you won this player outright.
Exactly.
You've got him to your school.
What do you think from a devil's advocate standpoint? What about like baseball? How, you know, you have the Yankees who outspend everyone else, and they're still competitive balance within that sport. What do you think about that, where there's not a salary cap, so to speak?
Well, because it's gonna be based on the states that have the highest wealth. That's what it's going to be. But also not just that, because majority of people, like you got Spartans that live in, Texas and everything like that. But the root of it all is oil tycoons, this oil money and everything. And you see a little bit about that in the state of Oklahoma. You see a little bit. There's some schools that are public schools with public funding, and there's some schools that are oil funded schools. And these kids that are oil funded in the Stillwater region and everything like that have they have an advantage on those different things. But, so it comes to those things there. And I truly, I want the purity of the game. So I want the sanctity of the game, of the NCAA. If not, I don't know where we're going to be.
It can get ugly, huh? It can get ugly.
I just we're going to stay close to it because clearly it's still going to be ever changing, right? But that's a huge chess move. Like, that's a huge, hey, we're 10 spaces ahead of y'all, 10 moves ahead of y'all. And they took it to, like you said, proactively and took it internally to saying, listen, we got to do something because, we want to win a championship at all costs.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah,
at all costs, they want to win a national championship. And
what if you see Texas go live golf?
Yeah, that's what. There's a great example.
Yeah.
Well, remember Longhorn Network when it came out, right?
Yeah, that was the first.
It was the first, listen, we're going to make our own network, and we don't care what other things are happening in media rights. We're going to make our own network. Which then I feel like start to see the Big Ten network. You start to see other stuff, but Longhorn had their own network.
Yeah, they were first. And this goes to show for all of college football. And this is an additive in the SEC long before, like Texas. The SEC played by their own rules.
Yeah.
It was always ask for forgiveness than permission. And now there's that. Now states, leagues, everything is given more and more of that leeway that they can start doing more of that now.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of people in the comments talking about it. NIL is ruining college sports, not amateur anymore. But I don't think that horse has left the barn. I don't think that you're going to be able to do that. We just talked about Madi Sissoko having a great turnout back in his hometown of Mali, with NIL.
But that's NIL done right.
Exactly. So it's not just NIL's ruining the sport. I think when you don't have guardrails and there's people that can just, pass legislation saying that I don't care what or whatever happens at the NCAA level, we're not affected by it, which is an incredible thing, guys. And
pay for play or taking care of current student athletes, on campus. It's collectives are to be aggressive in recruiting.
Yeah.
To pay these players to come play for you. There's difference. And I think that's the opportunity. Everything's meshed together now. Yeah. And people don't know what's right, what's left. And, we're in a whole heap of trouble, but I'm hoping somebody, I don't know who it is going to try to at least, to your point, put guardrails on it to get us back in the lanes of playing fair. And we understand other schools have bigger affinities and bigger resources because of alumni and just, price like money, right? But at the very least, you knew that we could go compete with the kid because strictly off of who we are in the university, that's back in the day where we were able to do that, recruiting on just merit and culture in school. And now you're if you don't have a bag attached to what you're putting out there, there's really no way you're going to get put in the forefront of their race of trying to select a school.
Yeah.
And before we jump off this topic, these athletes better be careful. Like my grandpappy would say.
Oh, here we go.
What did he say? Grandpappy.
He always said, don't let the smooth taste fool you. And he said, talk is cheap, good whiskey costs money. Yeah. All right. With that said, is these athletes that are taking this money, you got to perform now.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
if just as much as the state can have this legislation that no rules can go, they can say, if you get this money and you don't perform, you got to pay this money back. So if you buy mama and them a house,
mama them,
yeah, if you get mama and them a house, and you don't perform, you're going to have to find somewhere to give this money back. And these kids are going to be in a bind there. So that's why there has to be some guardrails, some rules and regulations to this.
And the taxation piece, because that's what could trigger is the employment.
We haven't seen nobody hit the.
I know.
It hasn't been long enough, but you're going to see 10 years from now, they're like, da-da-da.
Not even.
Yeah.
Hey, the IRS just said that, they don't think that, charitable contributions are right. So that's something we want to bring Tom Dieters back on the show and talk about that.
Yeah.
Because he's, in that world of charitable gifts. And the IRS is like, well, you can't just give money to collectives that solely are trying to recruit players for athletics and get a write-off for that. So there's a whole mixed bag. But, one school is doing a very phenomenal job at NIL, and that's MSU. We're talking about the Evergreen Company. They won an award, a national award for its NIL program, showing the athletic department can compete with the big boys.
Yeah, and I think, one, got to give flowers to our own fellow Spartan Dawg, Deputy Ashton Henderson, who has led the charge of really just brand awareness of getting the right people in the room to educate student athletes on how to capitalize on NIL. We have, for instance, Malik Carr with his wrestling NIL deal. Like, he is one of the prominent guys who truly has a good deal. And I think, you being a lovely, avid wrestler fan, and, I think you in your past life, you are a wrestler. So, and then you have others like, from a standpoint of Malik Hall and our gymnasts, like everyone's having the success stories and the opportunities to celebrate the student athletes. It's an award that truly people were questioning, what was MSU doing? Why are we doing this? Our kids are educated to capitalize. Like, they have every resource at their fingertips, and it's really up to them to truly put a brand tied to their brand to help them elevate their whole thing.
Yeah, and that's a very good point there you talk about. And when people, out there that are saying MSU doesn't do the NIL for the guys, they don't do this, what they're saying is this: MSU isn't paying their guys, but MSU is really using the NIL for what it is.
Yeah.
They're using, and we had Darius Snow. He talked about working with Harvard, working with, that's NIL to work. You got Maddie Sissoko going back, and that's NIL. You have Malik Carr with
WWE.
When he's done playing, he's going to go, he has a WWE contract waiting for him, just like those twins that played at Miami last week. They're WWE NXT right now. The season's over. Boom, they're there right now. So those are the NIL deals that are setting these kids up for the future, not the instant gratification that everyone wants, that bag that everyone wants, those chains that everyone wants, the cars that everyone wants. That's not, it's setting them up for that life after they leave MSU. And that's what MSU is doing a very good job of.
The true spirit of NIL. That's what it's supposed to be.
Your name, your image, and likeness for the brand.
Right.
Yeah,
branding, not pay to play. And that's an interesting topic, and we could talk for days on it, guys. And to talk more about it, and Jehuu brought this up in our production meeting today. He said, look, we talk about NIL and what's going on all over the country. We need to talk to a recruit that's been around the country and here at home in Michigan State about this. So right now, what we're going to do is bring on Kaden Strayhorn, who has been around the SEC and now has just had an unofficial visit at Michigan State to the show. Let's bring him on now. I'm going to have to try to recuse myself a little bit here, since this is my son, by the way.
I was only waiting on you to call him like Pookie or like there was
a little peanut. Okay, but that's him. Kaden Strayhorn joins This is Sparta. How you doing there, Kaden?
How you doing, Dad?
He said he good.
Yeah, Kaden, I appreciate you on taking the time to join us here. And when we were talking in the production meeting about recruiting and everything like that, and I thought it would be a lost cause if we didn't bring you on. You've had the opportunity. Right now, you're a sophomore at IMG, going into your senior year this season coming up. You
skipped a grade.
18 scholarship offers. And right now, the start of June and everything, I was just in LA and I, hung out with you guys. We crushed some Popeyes chicken and all that. Your mom wasn't supposed to know that. But, we did all that. And then you guys hit the recruiting trail the next day. So you were at Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. Now you're here in East Lansing. What is this recruiting process like? Because it's a lot different from when any of us were recruiting. So what is that recruiting process like for you right now?
The recruiting process is definitely extremely unique. We were just at Georgia, then we went to Alabama, and then we went to Tennessee. Being able to see the difference between every single school, even though it's the same conference, every school is very unique in itself. Georgia, we saw really good facilities. And really what you want to look for when you go to a school is who is down for you as a person after football, not just as looking at you as a football player. And then you want to look at how has this coach developed the position that you play, and how can this coach get you to that next level?
Yeah, that's a very good point there. And today you were here at Michigan State. So how do the SEC facilities and everything compare to what's going on here in Michigan State?
I would say I'm trying to get a charger. Okay, I would say that in the SEC, they have a lot of money, so their facilities are always going to be top notch, no matter what school it is. Georgia, especially, their facilities are brand new. It's the best in the country, I would say. Alabama has a brand new weight room now, and it's really nice. It's really like IMG a lot, but being at a high school like IMG, they already have everything that you are going to have in college. And then going to Tennessee, they have everything, and their strength coach is very position-based with his lifts. So it's going to develop you as an offensive lineman, and everyone is going to be on a different program depending on what position they play. And then at Michigan State, they're building a new facility, and, their strength coach used to be at IMG, so he's very familiar with the way that I work out now, and, that's always awesome to see.
All right, Kaden, talk about your visit today. You've grew up pretty much on campus here at Michigan State. You've seen this, during the D'Antonio era. Been in the booth, been on the sideline. You watched guys like Le'Veon Bell on the sideline with his hand with holes in it. So you've seen a lot of players up close. You've been in the locker room, the training room, got more equipment than Jehuu, which is impossible. What have you seen today that makes you feel like, is Michigan State on par? Can they be on par with the SEC schools that you've seen last week?
Okay, so today we watched the video of the new facility that's under construction right now. Their new program and their new facility that's about to be put in is top notch. Things that are similar to the SEC that they have that I saw in the video are they have a turf hill that runs up to the weight room, and that's exactly what Georgia had. And so seeing, that's kind of where I go to when I was trying to bring up the topic of seeing similarities. So when I see these similarities, then I can compare by the schools and what they have. And really, Michigan State's about to have everything that an SEC school has in as far as a weight room and a locker room and all the flood pools and the cold tubs and the hot tubs. So it's all just formatted differently. That's really the biggest difference. And, really what it comes down to is the staff. You need to figure out which staff wants you the most and which staff is ready to, go to bat for you no matter what happens, win or lose.
Yeah, Kaden, you, from a standpoint, people don't really understand your work ethic and obviously the commitment and sacrifices that you're going through right now. One, you're away from your family who live in California and you're in Florida. Talk about just the opportunity to truly grow at a young age and able to prepare you for when you do come to whatever school you select. Is it an advantage? Talk about that full, regimen and schedule that you're going through right now as you're living away from your family. And then, I know you're back for the summer with your family, but just talk about the whole thing right there.
So yes, sir. So basically what I would say is, moving away from my family as only a 16-year-old, it's a big move. And, when you do it so young, it's just like getting the jitters out on the first hit of a football game. You do it and it's done. So when you go to college, it's easy. And all you got to do is be prepared to grind because you already know what it's like to live on your own. So living on my own for 3.5 years at a school like IMG Academy is perfect because, when you go to college, it's the same thing. So, football is a business and you have to be ready to contribute to that business.
Damn. Hey, listen, this man has been in the basement with Papa Stray like. No, I'm talking about like you've been watching him on Spartan Media Network, just talking on that radio and that video, man. Like smooth. He's a smooth operator, isn't he?
Right. So, Kaden, so you talked about. So we got guys come from IMG, like we have Jordan Hall that's here, and from his time coming in the spring, watching him in the spring game, and now. I said Jordan Hall is a kid that can go out there and play and contribute this fall, just with that semester at East Lansing. How does IMG prepare a kid for college? I know you went into that a little bit, but like from X's and O's, weights, and that mental academics, that mental side of things with football. How does that prepare a student to go to college?
Okay, I'm going to be 100% real. IMG is not easy. When I went to, for example, my University of Miami's spring practice, their first practice, and I watched my old teammate Francis Ma go through the practice. He was the only offensive lineman that was able to get through that practice due to the fact that he's trained just like that at IMG Academy. You go, team stretch, it's long. It's 20 minutes. Same thing in college, right? Then you're going to go to inside run, all these, base reach drills in the corner with your O-line coach in Indy. All these things is the same thing as any program in college, especially the elite ones. So when you go through this, and especially as a guy like me that's been to IMG for 3.5 years, and a guy like Jordan Hall, when you go to college, it's easy and you're ready to just showcase what you can do. You're in shape, you're mentally prepared, and you're physically capable.
Yeah, and so with that,
man, I'm about to say, sign this man right now.
Right, sign this man. Give this guy his call. So I know we talk to your dad. We give him grief. We tell him, hey, get your kids here.
Legacy,
everything like that. Legacy. That's a word that's thrown around all the time. But at the end of the day, he says the same thing. Your mother says the same thing. It's yours and your brothers and your sisters because all three of you are talented and are going to play at the next level. So what advice do they give you?
Ooh, we put you on the spot, Kaden.
I would say, it's not about, going to the national championship winning team. It's not about, setting records. Even though, we might be physically capable of doing that, what my parents have always taught us is to be the best version of you. So when I'm going to go into a workout, right, I'm going to be the best version of me in that gym, and I'm not going to be outworked ever because effort is not, you don't need talent to have effort. So when you have that talent and you don't work hard, then effort beats you. But when you have talent and you put that effort in, you cannot be beat. And, you want to be where your feet are. So if I'm in the classroom, I'm worried about the classroom. If I'm at practice, you cannot be worried about homework or anything. You got to be where you are, where your feet are. That's practice. So let's practice, so my parents have distilled that in us, and especially faith. We have faith. Me, my brother and sister, my dad, he's taught that to us because due to the fact that his dad was a preacher. So my granddaddy has always taught me that, whenever you're in a rough time, when I'm at IMG and I miss my mom or I miss my little sister or my brother, I just look to God, and sometimes you just have to take a moment and breathe it all in. And you don't want to get too high or too low. You got to stay medium, and God and, family is, the main two things in me and my brother and sister's lives. So that's very important. And just being where you are, this is what Nick Saban always preaches, be where your feet are, Like right now, I'm in this interview, so I cannot be worried about anything else but this interview, and that's where I'm locked in at. So, yeah.
So you have 18 scholarship offers. So I wouldn't be me. I would lose my media badge if I didn't ask a tough question. Is MSU in your top 18?
They look to the side like, Kaden, like I met you when you were like, little jit, like you still had the fluffy baby fat, and y'all were making the grins and football and stuff. And when did it click for you? Like, when did it click where you were like, listen, I know I have the pedigree, I know I'm a Strayhorn, but like when it clicked for you where you're like, listen, I'm better, bigger, faster than obviously Michigan where you were living at, and like you needed another challenge. When did that click for you, when you were coming up playing football?
Okay, so in 9th grade, we actually drove by IMG Academy, and my mom had said, "Oh, this is school, IMG Academy." I was like, "Oh, I want to go there," and she said, "Okay, when we get back to my Nana's house, let's check it out." And so we seen it, and the tuition is nothing to play around with. So my mom said, and you could ask her. I looked in her eye and I said, "Oh, I'm a go." So. During COVID in 7th grade, when we were doing online school, every day after school, I would go to Barwis and I would just work out. And I just got like extremely strong for a middle schooler. I went to these mega camps and just started blowing up. And, I heard from all these people that were interviewing me about my dad. Oh, he was so strong. He was the strongest on the team. He was the best player. He did all these things. He would have been great. He was great. And, seeing all these things, I like to reflect on my dad's career and make sure all the mistakes I learned from, all the mistakes that he made, I'm not going to make because I had that mentor in my life. And that's why it's so important to have somebody that's been there before, and so much of a blessing to have a dad that's been there before, because he can tell you straight up whenever you need, like, no, don't do that, do this instead. And I'm a very process-driven guy. So when you give me a plan, I'm glad I'm going to do the work and I'm going to complete it. So when I was given that opportunity after my freshman season at IMG for IMG Academy, I jumped on it right away and I was ready to go. I was ready to work. And, it's been a blessing for me and my family. When you go to a school like that, you're gonna have ups and downs, and there's gonna be times where they're messing with your head, but you have to be mentally smart, and that's where that faith kicks in. And after this year and a half, I'm ready to show the world what I can do this junior season.
Yeah, Kaden, if we just took this clip and didn't do the intro and didn't say you're playing at IMG and you play this for someone, they would say, well, this is a guy in his junior year in college, with how mature you are and everything like that. You're just, 16 years old?
I just turned 17 a couple months ago.
Just turned 17. Okay, yeah, but at the end of the day, you're still a kid. So what do you like to do for fun? Like, what's your favorite food? I know you can crush Popeyes. I know that. The gold pepper wings and those strawberry biscuits. Yeah, I've seen that firsthand. But what type of music do you listen to?
Me and my dad has always played like the oldies, like Biggie, Tupac, all those types of guys. Recently, I listened to like The Baby, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, all those newer generational guys.
All the littles.
Yeah.
So that, and then we always listen to a little bit of gospel as well.
Okay, and what about movies? What's your favorite movie? What genre? Anything like that?
My favorite movie is Creed, because I feel like sometimes I am him. Seeing, people say, oh, you're there because of your dad. Your dad did this and that. At the end of the day, I'm the one on the field doing the work. And so I feel where Creed is coming from. And that's why that movie, I feel that's a movie I look to for motivation.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you do an impersonation of your dad?
No.
Good answer.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna see you tonight.
No. So I want to ask him a question. Just so today, because I was privy to be in the meeting today. You met with Coach Tucker. You came away from that, enlightened about his talk. Tell the guys here how that talk went and what did Mel say to you that spoke to you.
So we all sat down, and my mom asked Mel, he said, if Kaden was your son going through the recruiting process, what would you tell him to look at while he goes to these schools? And he immediately said, well, Mr. Strayhorn, I would tell him to look at, every single school has trophies. Every single school has, the fancy things, the shiny things. Every single school has the best facility. They're always going to build a new facility every year. It's just how it goes. But you need to look at the school that loves you the most, because if they love you and you go to a coach that's willing to run through a brick wall for you, and he goes, who was your favorite Little League coach? And he goes, see how your face just lit up? He said, a player that likes the coach is willing to play for that guy, play his heart out. So And he trusts that guy, and it's important to trust your positional coach. So he said, look for that coach that loves you and that staff that loves you, where you feel like you can be the best version of Kaden that you can be. And hearing that, it really touched my heart. And, I've been thinking about that ever since I left campus.
So, Kaden, what we want you to do is we want you guys to pack up tonight, get back on your flight, don't visit any more schools. This is the last stop for you.
It's a process.
No, but Kaden, seriously though, really appreciate you jumping on. You're well wise behind your age.
You talk better than me, so
right
now.
Yeah. So no matter where you go, no matter what school you choose, good luck to you. And we know you're going to find success, and we will always be rooting for you.
Thank you guys. And I just wanted to give a shout out to my mom. It's her birthday today.
Hey.
Happy birthday, mama.
Hey, happy birthday.
All right.
Should we do that?
We got a picture?
We got yeah. Oh yeah, we did.
Hey.
Should we do that Stevie Wonder?
Over at the Pizza House.
Should we do the Stevie Wonder happy birthday?
Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Awesome.
These guys are off the Richter scale.
Awesome.
Hey, great job, son. As I know you always like to do, man. Hey, look.
Man, listen, this.
Yo, I didn't have to coach him up.
Yo,
man, I feel like you gave him something because look.
No,
I don't.
That's what he does. This is how many interviews have you done today?
This is like my 5th one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he does
natural.
Yeah. He's a great kid.
Absolutely.
I'm not just saying that because I'm his dad.
And that boy can
love you, son.
That boy can crush Popeyes, boy. You see me eat a chicken wing, you just see this boy eat.
Look, he loved out. He's like, man, my mama watching. You just got him in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
Crushing Popeye.
Yeah, no, man, that was absolutely great interview. A well-rounded kid. Kudos to you and Alicia, for the family you're raising, not just Kaden, but Cody as well as Gabby.
Yeah.
All 3 of them, and all 3 of those kids
man.
are going to be playing at the next level.
You guys got some coming too. We're gonna be watching.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, it's a process.
It's a process.
Just be where your feet are. Tell the girls that right now.
Yes.
Well, I know we got Father's Day coming up, but man, like it's a beauty to see it in full out, in front of everything, where you're balancing a lot of stuff, working and getting, man, you sacrifice a lot.
Yeah.
You and Alicia have sacrificed a lot to put them at this point. So appreciate it, man.
You see this guy's flight pattern and fall. He's like here. He's lazy, call the game, go back there.
Yeah, but we do whatever it takes to put them in the best position to be able to succeed. And it does hurt sometimes, but we're willing to sacrifice. This isn't about me; it's about them.
Yeah.
And so I'm willing to do whatever it is. And Alicia, their mother, my wife is willing to do whatever as well. So it works that way. As long as you got a good partner, we're all focused. Just like Coach D used to tell you guys, we're all going. That's it. That's it. We're going in the same direction. Yeah, that was great, guys. So great show.
Great show.
If you enjoyed tonight's show, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. That helps us to continue to be able to bring you this show, the best Spartan experience, twice a week. Also, check out that playlist on YouTube. See, Choo Choo's greatest hits. Rewind this and check out that see if he hit all the words to that. Was it fried chicken? What was the name of that song? Chicken Fry.
Yeah.
He did not. I saw it.
Otis saw the other
Otis is technical with it.
Otis, see this
I'm out here like
he's
more important
stage.
More important. Hit up Sarah Miller.
Yes,
that is correct.
All the students, if you're watching, following us, you need to.
This is
you
the
don't
place
have
to
a
live.
place to stay. Carolyn's Crossing. Right here.
The one.
Hit her up.
Tell them Choo Choo sent you.
That's right.
You will get 0% off, but she will smile.
You'll have a great time. Maybe a keg by the pool, the indoor-outdoor pool, or that.
Make sure it's in the guidelines in the rules.
Right. Beach volleyball. Well, a great show tonight, fellas. For Jehuu Caulcrick, Otis Wiley, I'm Jason Strayhorn. Have a good night. God bless. And go green.
Go white.
So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your